Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Xbox channel for the last day of the Gears Pro League Split 2. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Jacob MVPR. We're about to head into an important and amazing series. Latin America versus North America. Pittsburgh Knights versus Kansas City Pioneers. This one has a lot of importance, Jacob. Why is that?
Because this is a battle for first place. And yeah, I said a battle for first place, and what's oddly enough, Pioneers don't have a shot at taking that first place. It's between the Pittsburgh Knights and United. And even though United won that match against Hybe due to forfeit, you got to give them. Bringing in Dyslexic to that squad. And I want to give this shout out because we don't get to see them today. And I missed them already. But we get to see Pittsburgh Knights versus Pioneers. My spiel versus United's over. They're put in the chest. They're locked away. I'm ready for this.
I'm sure they're going to be watching because, like you said, this is for first place. United sits there, but if PK wins, they'll have the head-to-head to United, and therefore they will have first place. So Pittsburgh Knights, Pioneers, this is going to be an amazing one. Let's talk about our first roster, Pittsburgh Knights. These boys have been on an absolute tear ever since Fearzly from Noble joined that roster. Raver, Dezo, Monkyz, Fearzly just truly have been representing Latin America in the best light possible, Jacob.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to say this team won Roster Mania during that offseason. Fearzly is the greatest addition to the squad. And I'm not saying anything against Chaos, because when I saw Chaos in their last split, I thought, okay, they're bringing in some leadership. They're bringing in an extra mind. They got second place, but I don't think that was necessarily Chaos. I think the whole team was just firing on all cylinders. Fearzly fits the meta. He fits the team. And when Raver came in, I was talking about Raver alleviating that pressure from Monkyz. Now Fearzly alleviates the pressure of everybody. It's very, very similar to that Detox edition to Rise when they replaced Franchise.
And Fearzly's been absolutely incredible. This roster has been just so well versed, not only in control, but execution as well as escalation. They're looking scary. And honestly, Latin America, the reason why we continue with that narrative that Latin America has the best chance to win a major, first team that comes to mind, at least personally, is Pittsburgh Knights. But speaking of winning a major, you got to give respect where respect is due. Even though we've seen some struggles from KCP, they still are going to be the returning champs into the next major, and also still are considered the champs going into this matchup. Let's talk about KCP, because you should be familiar with all four of these guys. Xysho, Acells, and Hndles, right? The trio that's been here from literally since KCP's been here, even that VQ roster. But then Bronny joins into the mix. You mentioned that roster mania. We talked about Fearzly. Let's talk about how Bronny's done.
Bronny, it's one of those changes to where it's very, very similar to that change where Mental goes out, TJ comes in, to where you cannot replace Precision. It is impossible to replace someone like Precision. So Bronny is not filling his shoes. He threw those Vans out the window. He's bringing in the straight Gore-Tex Air Force One Nikes. He's bringing in his own shoes so he doesn't have to fill somebody else's. And I think the team is finding their mix. They're finding their role, and they're figuring it out week after week. And even though there was a speed bump, there was a roadblock in the way during this split, I think they've kind of worked way through that. And I think it just comes up to where they show up on any given day.
It's always funny when I hear the word Gore-Tex, because then I just go back into the army and I'm like, that wet weather jacket made of Gore-Tex. It's funny to me, man. Anyways, but I go into a spill that would totally be irrelevant and wouldn't even make sense unless you were
all ears, though. All ears.
But you know what? Hey, we got to be all ears for this series. Let's take a look at least the stats for both of these rosters when it comes to Split 2. And you know what? PK does have the nod, right? And it makes sense since they are fighting for first place. Overall, their stats are looking actually really good. The only thing that's tied is the Escalation record of 5-2. So you can kind of say things might not be looking too good for KCP.
Yeah, as you can see, a couple of those speed bumps. It's like one series going a little bit better for the Pioneers, possibly ties up the record, but you can kind of say the same thing. That one series loss would have made the Knights record a little bit better. So when I look at these ones, I go to the same traditional meaning of stats. That's only half the battle. That's only half the story.
Of course.
Because against these stats, when I look at it, none of these were against one another. So it means absolutely, close to nothing.
That's right. And you can even go back to, splits before when that KCP roster was still the same was when KCP obviously would face off against Rise. Okay. Rise would look dominant. Even in split 1, they looked incredible. They looked dominant. They were killing everybody. And then they ran into KCP and they lost 3-0 in an extremely harsh fashion. Right. And that's the thing. Stats are important. I personally like stats. I do the stats along with our beautiful team. But you know what? it doesn't necessarily say or represent how the series is going to go because they haven't played each other yet. It's round robin. You play each other once. Let's take a look at our maps, Jacob, and let's have a discussion here. We're starting off on District. Pittsburgh Knights have played District very well. In fact, yesterday we saw them play against Team Xysho. District was map number 1. I don't know if you had a chance to peek in on that, Jacob. I know you're a busy guy, but that was an impactful map for me because Raver hit a beautiful 3-piece, and that truly changed the tide for Pittsburgh Knights, who at one point were down more than 150 points.
Yeah, and just kind of the Pittsburgh Knights, a little bit. Sometimes they look a little scary. Sometimes they look a little clean, but I think overall, I think they're looking fine. When it comes down to this particular picks and bans, I like District Control being that first map. I think it does kind of favor the Pioneers a little bit, but we know that the Pittsburgh Knights, they're not going to go down without a fight. Check out Execution being map number 2. I feel like the Pioneers must win that first map because we know how good and how dangerous the Knights have been on Execution. When I kind of look at Ritual, both teams can come out swinging. That's a very aggressive map. Tomb, again, I got to go ahead and favor the Knights just a little bit, but I skipped over Training Grounds Escalation because I think that will be the map to decide the series.
Yeah, definitely so, man. This is going to be a fun series. And honestly, I'm looking at all these maps and I'm thinking to myself, PK has to have the nod. They're fantastic on Ritual. We've seen them put in major work throughout, really even before Fearzly joined the roster on Checkout. So Checkout's going to be a great map for them. And then you also have District, which we found success, obviously, with that Raver 3-piece that I was talking about. I mean, he literally earned the eSwap X Pro Controller Play of the Day because of that beautiful 3-piece. So KCP, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle, at least in my mind. But KCP, we talked about PK having, struggles being wishy-washy at times, but KCP is also a roster that can look wishy-washy, but then look incredible as well the very next day. Who are we going for, though? This is a tough one, Jacob, that has us both divided. So, Jacob, I'm going to have you start.
Hey, I'm glad to start because I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Pittsburgh Knights a little bit. They are the team that will never go down. Even back to when we had Lance, it was the Pittsburgh Knights in your finals. But it's always bridesmaid, ever bride. When will that story ever end? On the side of the Pioneers, though, they're the championship team. Losing Precision hurts. It hurts a lot, but they already have that familiarity with Bronny. Last time he was on the team, they already got third. So there's a foundation to go ahead and already build from. But I think one team is going to have to come out on top. I said, Pittsburgh Knights, I have to win that Execution. Execution is game number 5. There's 3 other game modes, 3 other maps that they have to go through besides that map number 2. And I think all 3 of those maps favor the Kansas City Pioneers. So I got to go Pioneers. I think they're going to continue that dominant run going into the major. And I think they're going to help me. I got a couple games to come back on my own, and I need them. I need them. Let's go
Fair
Pioneers.
enough. It's a solid pick. KCP has, they're still respectable, and you have to respect them even on that E-Days making it to Grand Finals last Thursday. But let you not forget, Pittsburgh Knights also were in Grand Finals 3 weeks in a row. Sure. But like you said, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And it even was true not only in the major, but also when it comes to E-Days, sadly. But it is what it is. Who am I going for? Guys, I'm going with Pittsburgh Knights. I think Pittsburgh Knights is taking this series. What they showed me against Team Xysho yesterday was incredible. You know what? That's TQ. That's TQ. KCP's in a league of their own, and I will admit that. But I think Pittsburgh Knights have been very consistent. Plus, they're also fighting for first place. And that is a big, big key takeaway here. PK is going to be playing hard like they played hard last night because they want to be number 1. They want to go into the major as the number 1 seed. That is something not to take lightly, and PK is not going to take this series lightly. Chad, who are you going for? Pittsburgh Knights, or are you going KCP? Going Pittsburgh Knights as I expected, but let me also say this. I am truly the curse for KCP, okay? Every time I vote for them, they end up losing. So reverse psychology. Am I going PK to allow KCP to win? I don't know, but I know Hndles is probably happy that I'm going not going KCP because I'm telling you, I really am the curse.
Everybody on the side of the Pioneers just go ahead and cheered right into their team. Yes, he didn't.
They're so happy.
We got a chance, boys.
You really
on the side
do,
of
man.
PK, all that new merch just got tossed to the side. No!
Come on, man. Reflections for real? Yeah, man, I'm real, man. I'm going PK. But I really think they're better. Curses and all that aside, I think they're the better team. But Hey, we're going to have to find out. Map number 1, District. Let's get it started, ladies and gentlemen. You had the discussion going. You said we were slandering KCP. You said we were also talking about PK. Hey, honestly, whatever we say doesn't matter. It's up to the pros. Opening kill coming up potentially from Raver. He's going to get the kill onto Acells. Hndles and Xysho forced to back up the smoke, creating chaos, but the pros are used to it. We do see a PK member drop, and it looks like PK is going to have the final stand and also get the first points on the board.
PK, that's how you start it. You want to continue to build that momentum for your team, but the Pioneers sometimes in a lot of their games this split, no matter if it was a victory or a loss, it's because they come out of the gates a little bit slow. They don't start as well as they know their potential can kind of build up to. You see 3 players on the other side of the map. It starts with getting your footing, getting that position. That's why Bronny was out first, but drop shot in the hands of Monkyz. In his history, he hasn't always been effective, but this is a chance with first place on the line to cement yourselves as one of the best players in the game, and he cements himself with a drop shot onto Acells to keep the Knights in control of this hill as shots are coming over the top. Players are being dropped all around. Revives are in play. Bronny gets stopped short from picking up the rest of those eliminations, but it's going to be up to Hndles. 3v1 opportunity. Even if he does get taken down reflection, he needs to buy time.
Needs to buy time. Hndles, will he be able to do so? Well, hey, that kill on Raver is definitely buying time if I've ever seen it. Fearzly's going to get aggressive, though. Take him down. And a flawless start for Pittsburgh Knights as they get just about every single point. But Pioneers have set themselves up on the next one, but they've got a wall of Pittsburgh Knights members ready to push them from the front end.
59-0 after that first hill. Pioneers have to answer back big. Acells gets it down, but nobody's there for the revive. One person tried to go up, but it basically cost them his life. That's going to be Hndles. Xysho forced to stay alive here in this situation because they cannot get antsy. They cannot go in one after the next because that 59-0 can definitely get worse.
It definitely could, right? You could start to spiral out of control. But again, I'm going to bring up history from yesterday. That Team Queso matchup, Pittsburgh Knights were down about 150 points, yet they ended up winning the map on this very map on District. So Pioneers is also the same team with the same dialogue. You can never count them out until you have fully beat them, whether it be map by map basis, round by round basis, or series basis. You got to put them into the grave early on, and Pittsburgh Knights cannot afford to let go of the gas. 102-4. Drop shot going to be secured in the hands of Raver, who's going to hold on to it for the time being. We're rotating over for the next hill. Once again, it's going to be a scramble, and it looks like Pioneers should have the first points off of the fresh one, but will they find success? Because Pittsburgh Knights have done a great job at breaking the setup of Pioneers.
About starting slow, it's like they're sleepwalking right now here on the side of the Pioneers, but I like what they're doing here. They're not playing for the hill. They're trying to get that drop shot from Raver out of play, regardless if he used it, but that's a double for Bronny. Almost gets the third, but Fearzly, the newest pickup for the Knights, takes him out, but the damage has definitely been done. You see the Pioneers, they simultaneously, while attacking the low side of the map, go ahead and converged on the northern portion of the map. They take control of the hill while taking out the drop shot, which go ahead and allows them to go ahead and close in on the gap.
Closing on the gap, like you said. Look, even though it's a scary start for KCP, now that it's 108-50, it's very doable for them to come back in this moment, as long as they can just stave off this next push from Pittsburgh Knights. 38 seconds to fight for. Pittsburgh Knights just on the outside looking in, ready to push through, but will they find success? Well, they haven't made a move just yet, and you're getting to the point now where it's like, okay, we're going to make this push fine, but is it going to be worth it once we take it over? Because by killing KCP, you're also having them spawn across the map, which is letting them get set up early on for the next hill. But maybe there's something else in mind. Is Pittsburgh Knights actually staying on the outside to at least keep Pittsburgh Knights, or Pioneers, excuse me, from rotating out? I don't know, but the fact that they pushed in last second like that, Jacob, honestly was a bit of a misplay in my eyes for PK.
Definitely was a little bit of a misplay. I felt like they could have contested at the very minimum on 2 different sides of the map, but like they're on 2 different pages. Drop shot coming up next, though. Pioneers seem like they have control over that portions of the map with the Pittsburgh Knights. 3 of those players are funneled down low. One of the players is going to be Dezonide. I do think because of that, yes, he was going to get spotted out. Hill is going to rotate on over. Chance for the drop shot being picked up right now by Xysho are absolutely massive, and their usage has to be perfect here. With only 30 points really separating these two teams, Pioneers have got this game within reach.
They definitely do. Pittsburgh Knights starting to slow down, not looking like the same explosive team off the start, and that's what I said, guys, about KCP. They're a team that you cannot afford to give them any air. You have to suffocate them, and you have to continually try and suffocate them over time. But now that KCP has brought it within striking distance, they are looking incredible. Drop shot's going to be whiffed. Dezo will stay alive. An opportunity for him to bully the rest of the members from KCP up ahead. And actually, look at him already getting it down in the corner. Pioneers are forced to back up off the hill. Pittsburgh Knights have the break, and they're currently there to hold on to the lead.
Finally, their setup is there. Stop a ton of that point game. Because after hill number 3, they had only scored 9 points. Giving up a ton over to the Pioneers, which made this game a little bit more close as Monkyz gets that down onto Bronny. He's going to go ahead and stagger him out so they can have an advantage on the map that much quicker. But you see that rotation in your minimap. They're trying to take this 3v2. Monkyz goes down for a short second, which is going to buy the Pioneers time to try to get a rotation over. But I don't think it's going to come quick enough. They're going to have this chance for a 3v2. Players getting called out all around. That's going to be Bronny short for that rotation because he was on respawn, as the Pioneers are just taking him out one by one. First it was Hndles, then it was Acells. The revives are being chained out. Bronny's going to drop as the last players are going to be taken out for the Pioneers. From one hill to the next, the Knights keep it going.
The Knights keep it going, and that's what they need to do. Great recoveries. Things were starting to look a bit shaky, Jacob was starting to get worried for them, but they do answer back and now force KCP to once again retake the hill, and a fresh hill, in fact, so this is important. Fearzly backing all the way up to get those angles on any KCP members that are going to be pushing forward. And, you know, Pioneers, they've got to make a decision. Do they want to challenge Fearzly or just forego him, leave him alone, and just beeline it straight into the hill? Because if they do that and they successfully take over the hill, well, then Fearzly is really of no consequence. Acells, though, with the drop shot, you got to keep eyes on him. He's probably going to try and make a move here on the current hill. Depending on how this ends up unfolding, Monkyz might have a chance to actually take him down before the drop shot's even utilized, but Acells, well done holding his ground. Monkyz will fall, but look at that score lead for PK now.
I need ammo.
I don't really even want to use it. There's only 24 seconds. This is just scrap time. I think Acells knows it. He's trying to save that drop shot, but Raver breaks out. Maybe he should have used it because he might go down with a fresh on his back. Unfortunately, he does, but he was able to get one. But I might have spoke too soon. Acells gets saved by Bronny, which is big because the longer Acells stays alive, the longer the Pioneers have hope, no matter what the scoreline is, because that scoreline does look bleak. That's a big lead for the Knights.
But it's not 250. That's the important thing. It's not 250. PK is just nearly above 200, which means Pioneers off of this hill alone can absolutely get there. And what a kill from Acells. Look, it wasn't easy to hold on to that drop shot, Jacob. We saw him down and out so many times, but because he stays alive, because he was able to get revived by his wonderful teammates, he's able to capitalize and get the two-piece and therefore put Pioneers well in control of the current hill. But Pittsburgh Knights, they had the close respawns. They're right back into the fight. I like that Fearzly backs off. I also like the fact that Dezo backed off to allow player 1 Raver to join in. This needs to be a 3v3 push, not a 2v2. But the shock is also going to give Pioneers a little bit more spacing, some more time as well to read the defensive setup, where Bronny might be the flex player. Dezo needs to keep his eyes peeled.
Acells has to be careful. He's trying to go for that cheeky play. Anybody going and putting themselves on that position. But they have a pretty good setup for the side of the Pittsburgh Knights, who at the very minimum keep this one decapped. But you see everybody trying to rotate across the map, trying to set up for this next one. That positioning is perfect, and because there's less than 30 seconds left, no matter what happens, the Knights can't give up this time, but they're leaving Fearzly in position to keep this one contested. Pioneers know it. They now see the plan forming in place, and they're trying to make their own rotation over.
159 to 203. Jacob, Pittsburgh Knights have not got a single point off of this hill. That's what I was talking about. If PK doesn't take over the hill, Pioneers can definitely be in the running, and they are well within the running. But we also saw the same scenario just a little bit earlier, where Pittsburgh Knights then took a 60-70 point lead, a jump well ahead of the score line of KCP. Will we see the same result now? I think we are going back to the original rotation of Hills. Monkyz is in fact going to get that drop shot and get out unscathed. Not a single scratch to his name. Snub out. Acells looking to make that push. Monkyz has to make a decision. Keep the snub. Focus on Acells or bring out the drop shot. But I guess that answer has already been made for him. Raver will take him down. This hill needs to be successful for Pioneers. We're back to the start, Jacob, where PK took a massive lead.
Ooh, that's a big battle. That was a big elim by Raver. Unfortunately, he dropped the Dezonide. Kind of feeling that momentum. But look, they're going to get the revive. Fearzly's going to get the revive towards the side. Hndles gets blown up, but that doesn't matter because the cross is going to come in. You leave a player down, and he's going to bite you in the rear as the Pittsburgh Knights wanting to eclipse that 250-point mark. That's when you begin to put the pressure on like never before. Great flank cross coming in from Raver, downing these players out. The pressure is on. Acells goes down. Revive from Xysho, but these players are not thriving in this situation. They're barely surviving. Finally, a cross incoming from the juice by Hndles.
He
gets
good.
dropped. Raver will survive. The Pittsburgh Knights are in full control still.
Just like in a Team Queso matchup yesterday, Raver, even if he's not the stat leader, he's getting the kills where he needs to. He's holding his angles and his lanes where he needs to. He's not giving up those flanks. He's not giving up those lines of sight that KCP is desperately trying to fight for. Raver is truly instrumental in the success here on District, and I gotta say I'm becoming more and more of a fan of watching him compete and play because of the value he gets with his lives when he needs it most. This hill means a lot for KCP. Pittsburgh Knights are within striking distance of taking map number 1, the first victory, and then heading into checkout, which obviously is one of their best execution maps. So KCP has to fight now for every inch of the map, and they can't stop.
Usage positioning that PK has that allows him to affect different fights at once. Hndles was at least trying to stop Monkyz, but that puts him out of position. Everybody trying to make the perfect play for their team, which is resulting in random scattered eliminations across the map. Dezonide goes down. Monkyz tries to be the hero. He gets shut down as well. Both Dezonide and Monkyz are going to lead the 2 players falling, but that was enough of a distraction for Fearzly to get this fresh respawn drop shot. And the thing about Fearzly is he's getting his teams the respawns across the map. He's not focused on using it right away. He's just waiting for that perfect moment.
210 now to 268. Still doable. Drop shot. Will he line it up? He sends it flying. Connects onto Bronny. Retake successful. Xysho forced to back up. Raver not backing down. Xysho big moment. Can't make it happen. Now 280 to 209. Not enough points off this current hill for PK to win, but they can get dangerously close and they might bleed it dry. Hndles fighting tooth and nail against Monkyz and co. Will in fact earn that shot, but Fearzly's ready to go, and Hndles wasn't ready. Will Fearzly be able to get the drop here? He needs one more pellet, but well done from the team fire. But even so, Fearzly will pick him off. And now he has that backside to push for the final points Pittsburgh Knights need.
Pioneers they absolutely need this hill. They need as much of the time as possible, but at the very minimum, they need to keep Pittsburgh Knights out. A couple of downs, but quick revives are going to keep them back in and pushing forward. And finally, the eliminations are going to come in for both of these teams. They're going to trade back and forth. Great flank by Hndles and Bronny, though. They're going to solidify the eliminations and a full team wipe to back the Pittsburgh Knights off the hill. But if you look at the Pioneers, they cannot be content at just grabbing this time off of this hill because they now have to worry about the weapons respawning. They have to worry about the bigger picture. And I think the Knights, they know that the drop shot is going to be spawning in a few seconds. So they're going to go ahead and try to get the drop shot in their hands before they make their final push.
I know Pittsburgh Knights are at 286. They're 14 points away from victory, but they can't feel comfortable just yet because Pioneers is dangerously close. One wrong move and Pioneers can be within striking distance of 300, and this can end in a spectacular fashion with KCP completing the comeback. And again, I go back to what I've been saying throughout this map number 1. You have to put them in the grave early on, and you have to continue to fight hard, because if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. But is this the final push for Pittsburgh Knights? Is this the push they need? Acells trying to hold them back, but it looks as if it might light up blue, but no! Pioneers hold on tight, and we are now 289 to 261, and Pittsburgh Knights could in fact still lose this map.
No!
Is there enough time?
They can win. They can win.
There's enough time. What? Raver once again?
I don't know if it was Bronny. They go for it. They give up their free life. They make it another 1v1, and Raver steps up to the pinnacle to take the trophy. And you said you're becoming a fan. Well, I've been a fan. Raver and the Pittsburgh Knights show up big in map number 1.
Fearzly MVP, but Raver MVP. And at least for me, when it comes to, again, getting those kills where they matter most in those big situations, incredible job. And that stat line for KCP not looking good. Acells 6-11, Bronny 8-11, Hndles 4-10, Xysho 3-13. Lots of damage across the board, and that's interesting. If you at least look at the damage done, though, the damage was being outputted. The KDA isn't or at least the KD isn't everything, and it's represented with how close that scoreline still was. This was a lot closer than I was expecting, especially off the start that Pittsburgh Knights was able to implement. But 300 to 265 is where it will end. But again, Raver, that man making so many excellent plays.
A couple of them earlier were Monkyz, but Raver, and that's what I'm saying. Because even Fearzly, I said a moment there, they left Fearzly down when they rotated towards the second beginning hill rotation. They left that player down. That allowed them to kind of converge on two different sides of the map. PK playing absolutely team-oriented Gears of War gameplay, and I like the way Fearzly, like I said, they won that offseason. He alleviates the pressure, very, very similar to when Detox was added to Rise and replacing Fran. You lose a couple of IGL plays out of Chaos, you gain so much more in terms of how the game is played right now. And for the Pittsburgh Knights, they executed to perfection.
I love that drop shot from Acells. It took so long for him to finally use it, but he stayed alive with the help of his teammates, and that was a big moment for the Pioneers because off of that two-piece with the drop shot, they were able to catch up and effectively make things super competitive. But, slowly but surely, Pittsburgh Knights continue to fight and ultimately come back. This was the hill I thought for sure where Pioneers... literally right here, I didn't expect Raver to hit that. I did not expect Raver to get that two-piece.
For the up A, bro, his brain just turned into a giant A button right there. I swear, just turned it into a giant A button. Yes, and every nerve in his body slammed that A button. He knows not to do that. He got yelled at by Xysho. Whoever that was, I think it was Xysho at the end. He got yelled at. He got yelled at because that gives up the 1v1. And even though, yes, Xysho did miss shots, Bronny put them in that position.
So you're saying he's got his controller, and then just off to the right, he has this massive A button that he just throws his overall just complete body into it.
Everything in him said press A, press help A. It's just capital A. All his letters on his keyboard are just an A after that.
Just one. A. That's him. Just slapping A's across the board, man.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Oof, that shows, though, the pressure they were under, because honestly, it's those same moves that Bronny and everybody realistically in Gears of War does that makes that World Star play where we're screaming about it in a positive way. But unfortunately, we're screaming about it in a negative way that kind of hurt him in 2v1. Just keep your distance. Keep him out of the hill. You're not going to win off of that hill, so getting that time means absolutely nothing on the Pioneers. You just need to keep the Knights out of it.
Yeah, well said. Even if PK gets to 299 there, KCP was in striking distance, and they were also rotating and kind of set up very well for the next hill too, Jacob. So that was a very winnable situation for KCP as long as they did not allow Raver to do what he did and hit that massive two-piece. But that seems to be all she wrote. Pittsburgh Knights wins map number 1. That's back-to-back nights that they successfully win District in a pretty spectacular fashion. Again, PK is playing for first place here over that of E United. If they win this series, they are, in fact, undisputably going to have and secure that number 1 spot in Pro League, which is going to give them the number 1 seed heading into the major. What a storyline that would be, from second place last major to first place in Pro League. You got to have the respect for them to potentially win the next major. But we're heading into map number 2, and I want your thoughts on how you think this one's going to go. We're moving into checkout execution.
I'm trying to give hope for the Pioneers here, but when I was looking at the cycle, I said the Pioneers needed to win the first map because how good the Pittsburgh Knights are on execution. So I want to give Hndles hope. We know what they can do when their backs are up against the wall, but what have you done for me lately right now? And I think the Pittsburgh Knights have done just a little bit more. So I got some red flags going up, but we're going to start with yellow. We're going to throw up yellow flags at first. We'll wait and see how this one progresses on checkout before we throw up the red flags.
Looking at checkout. So last time checkout was played was for KCP was against Rise, and they lost 1-6.
How was that beatdown though?
That was that beatdown. That was when Rise handled their business, 3-0'd them. That was a spectacular win that gave Rise a lot of confidence, in my opinion. Before that, they beat Fury 1-6-0, and then they beat Purified 6-3. But their last loss was 1-6. Might come into fruition, or at least in the back of their minds, they've got to be thinking about that loss on checkout. Whereas Pittsburgh Knights, they have not lost checkout yet. They beat the likes of Discipline. They beat the likes of E United there 6-3. They've also beat Rise there 6-3. So if you think about it, Rise is a common denominator when it comes to both of these rosters. On checkout, one beat them, one didn't. That could, in fact, play a big, big difference, or at least a big mindset going into this one. But Jacob, you also said stats. They don't mean everything, and they don't. This is the first time they played each other, but that map number 1 was close. Even though PK wins it, it still was close.
I'm lacing up for him.
You're what?
I'm going to lace up for them. If they come out and win this one, if the Pioneers win this one, like I said, they have what it takes to win the series, because this one's going to be won by execution in Way of the Knights, and this just makes it a little bit easier because of the Pioneers losing that control. But I said at the end of the day, the decider is going to be training grounds. But check out, this is just an all-out war, and with how well the Knights are doing, I am a little worried, but I give hope. I give hope going over to the Pioneers, because the Pioneers, they haven't lost anything worthwhile in such a long time.
No, I mean, that's true. I mean, KCP are still the champs, until they're dethroned. Like, KCP is an incredible roster, and they are, in fact, in contention to win the major. You have to give respect where respect is due. Bronny loves to go up top and get those nades. He's going to be uncontested, sends one flying, but to no avail. Doesn't have any connections. Dezo hits a nice body shot, and we will see Raver obviously pushing up now, as we will see Dezo also trying to hit those shots.
Enough how they didn't push towards that back line, but Dezonide is just he's just trying to play around. He's just feeling himself out right now, waiting for somebody to kind of shoot at him with a pistol or a lancer, and that's when he either hits the headshot, obviously just done and over with, or he's gonna hit the body shot, and somebody is going to be able to push up. There's not gonna be any utility kind of followed up for that push, but they're definitely going to be there. But on the side of Bronny, he does have frag grenades, so even though it does look like the Pioneers are just kind of waiting because they don't have anything, they're just waiting for Bronny. They're just waiting for that perfect moment. Bronny throw out those frag grenades, and the team follow up on him.
I'm amazed it's still a 4v4, though. I got to be honest with you. The fact that it's stalemated this hard with how many bullets were sent flying. That's that nade that was shot out, and it looks like Pioneers try to make a move, but they're going to be put into the blender as 2 players will fall. Acells now will try to get a side angle, but Pittsburgh Knights will break out from the bottom end, and Acells will be finished off, and that's going to be a solid round and a solid start for Pittsburgh Knights.
Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know, Taylor.
Well, let's talk about it. What's up?
It looked clean. It looked clean. I said they're waiting Bronny. Bronny throws the frag grenade towards the back lane. But it took crucial time. In big picture in life, it wasn't that long, but it took crucial time in Gears of War before they even put down the first bullet. If they would have been shooting immediately, that would have been a down on a Dezonide. They would have been pushing up. We probably would have been a different story.
Round number 2. Bronny once again with the nades in hands, and a beautiful flank, this time taking the initiative. The first blood will come out as Raver will take down Hndles. Bronny answers back, though, taking down Fearzly. 3v3. In the meantime, shot fired. Acells can close the gap. Dezo will fall. Maybe new life for KCP. Raver by himself. And even though he hits a nice shot onto Acells, it's only going to bring him full red, and the love has started as the confidence might start flowing for KCP as they win their first round.
The bad boys of Gears of War at this point.
They are going in.
I love it, though. I love it because this is the type of antics I was always up to. You know what I mean? No matter if it was Men's or Bigfoot, any OGs back there, those guys used to get so mad at me when I used to do this type of stuff. I swear I was going to get a dumpster at every event I was going to. Luckily enough, I'm such a sweetheart in person. You know what I mean?
You are. I
love it. I love that type. No matter what game it is, I love somebody just proving their dominance, bro. Because that's what you have to do. You have to dominate your opponent in order to get the opportunity to do that.
You might learn something.
And I think for me, too, it shows that KCP isn't phased, by map number 1. They're not phased by that round 1 loss. Like, it is what it is, and that's the thing. KCP, they don't get into their heads. They just reset and they come back. Another nade thrown by Bronny. It'll split the difference and only get a hit marker. Monkyz pushes up. Xysho takes him down. A big loss. And Bronny on the flank can have a tremendous effect here. Dezo's forced to reposition. And Xysho does die, and maybe the advantage is gone. Where did Bronny even send that nade? I have no clue, but either way, it's gone. And he'll not get it back. And the cells will fall, and Bronny is now forced to go 1v against the world. And it had to be a misinput, right?
No, that's where he wanted.
But there was no.
That's where he thought he wanted. No, I'm agreeing with you 100%. That's where he thought he wanted it, right? But I don't know if the pressure is getting to Bronny. I have no idea if the pressure is getting him to right now.
Too early to say.
No, it is too early. But come on, you got to play into the storyline because map number 1, with the game literally on the line, he smashes the green Skittle for the loss, but his teammate no 1v1. Again, he has a chance to make a play with that frag grenade, possibly 2 kills in the bag, and he fumbles the ball. I'm not going to say it is too early. I agree with you, but the proof is in the pudding.
I want to say I love Bronny. Like I really, really like Bronny as a person. So it's so hard for me to be. It's hard for me to be critical about any Gears player. Like I even felt bad about Discipline earlier, but that was a misplay. That really was straight up. But it is what it is. We're going into round number 4. Bronny again uncontested for the nades. Pittsburgh Knights just genuinely doesn't even care that he's up there, that he's getting nades. No respect it whatsoever. Acells will be the first blood. He's going to die off here. Now Monkyz once again trying to push up onto Xysho, but will redirect onto Bronny, sending him back. Bronny needs to hold his ground here, but he will die. Now it's going to be a 4v2, make that a 4v1, and almost a flawless round. Fearzly will die, but regardless, the nade from the grave. That's going to be it.
Bronny's been throwing so many duds. They saw Bronny on that wing. They said, oh, it's Bronny, get him. And they just completely jumped him. They jumped out of that checkout and pushed the play with the frag. Bronny could have went down with a frag and made more of an impact than he's done so far. And it's not saying necessarily on him. The team needs to be able to buy him time. Acells going and dying in flat side is not what you want, but Bronny is throwing the same frag every single time and not getting any. Look at Acells say, you know what, Bronny, go over there. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
All right,
make the play.
Yeah, Acells finally gets those nades. Let's see if he throws out both this time. Will connect onto Fearzly. So well done from that. That's going to be first blood. Dezo, though, gets the incense. Sends one flying, connects on a Xysho, so that nade from Acells now counteracted. But watch out, Hndles. He's got a nice little angle, dodges the incense, and Raver and Dezo need to get away. But Dezo can't get away in time. It's a 3v2.
That first grenade, putting the damage on here.
Yeah.
Bron, Acells, James from downtown. I like that fun, but that just goes to show, hey, that's what I want to see, though. I want to see these guys that have been on the team for a long time just take control. Acells made the call. You say, you know what, Bronny? Let me see the nades. Let me show you how it's done. I like the way he threw, too, because even though that second grenade didn't get an actual elimination, you saw the hit marker. He got the damage, which stopped the players from getting aggressive.
I love the beatdowns at the end. It's like you had 2 jumping.
The best thing is the emotes, man. I wish emotes were back in my day.
Oh man, I couldn't even imagine you with emotes, Jacob, like on main stage or whatever. I could, bro. Gears is just, I love Gears. I really do, man. Look at this. Finally, Fearzly is going to challenge the nades. They said if Acells is going to go up there, we got to deal with him. If Bronny goes back up, all right, cool. We'll do a 4-man push for the incense. But they finally addressed that. Raver throws out one incense, but not going to be able to connect onto that one. Second one's thrown, and unfortunately, they're going to be in a bad spot as KCP now get the cleanups. Dezo evens it up, though, 2-2. And now you got Xysho. He's going to be trapped on the bottom end alongside that of his teammate of Hndles.
Frag grenades in place, and not much to worry about. That one is going to connect, but he's taking a ton of damage. He only lands 1 pellet. Hndles goes down on the other side. He needs to figure out a way to win the 1v1 against Fearzly. Everything comes crumbling down like a game of Jenga as the Pittsburgh Knights showboat right back. And that's what I like about the Pittsburgh Knights as well. They are not afraid to go ahead and showboat. They make it short and sweet, though, because they're up 4-2. They know winning the map is going to do more hurt to the Pioneers than all the showboat and all the hump and all the teabag in the world combined.
Dude, I love how intense this series is and how it means so much, like, for first place, but it's just, they're having fun, but is it really fun, or is it just like, I like genuine, like, they love each other. There's no bad blood, but it's like, as of right now, it's just like, dude, I am coming at your throat. And I love that. I really, really do. Raver, once again, getting out with the incense. Pittsburgh Knights have shown 2 distinct looks. One, that they can get the sniper pickup quickly, and then also that they can get those incense. And I'm hearing that, ooh, and I know why, because Fearzly just took it to Acells. Bronny falls right after. 3v2. Pioneers not catching a break as they are just getting peppered nonstop. And I think Pittsburgh Knights, the only thing they're really thinking about now is how do they want to finish this execution. easy enough.
Finish
Just
the execution.
the
Exactly. They just want to finish the execution. 5-2. They would just want to finish it easy. Like I said, I thought this was going to go a little bit of a story. I thought Pioneers might win map 1, going into map 2, the Pittsburgh Knights on execution. You guys know how that story goes. It's not going to change up. Say 2-0 in this fashion. I'm kind of scared. That red flag I was talking about, where I said it was yellow, maybe it was orange. No, it's red. Here's the war red.
Here we go, 5-2. Pittsburgh Knights one round away from leading 2-0 in this series. Acells is going to be up top fighting for those instants. Like I said, Pittsburgh Knights consistently getting them. Acells will finally get them, but it doesn't mean they can break out of the position. And Raver's going to get the drop on Xysho and Acells, and they're both going to fall. Now it's going to be up to Hndles and Bronny. And Bronny's going to be isolated by himself. Hndles will fall. And ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh Knights will complete the win 6-2 on checkout. And that's going to put them 2-0 up against the champs of KCP. Pittsburgh Knights are one map away from securing first place in Pro League. And what a story that they have had, ladies and gentlemen. Fearzly joining the roster, and Pittsburgh Knights have looked absolutely incredible ever since that moment. And they have the major championship in their line of sights. They have the first championship for Latin America on their mind. And I must say, ladies and gentlemen, I mean this, Pittsburgh Knights are 100% championship caliber material at this point in time. Fearzly, well done. 10 kills, 4 assists. Hey, the series is going to be a long one, though, because KCP might come back. But coming up next is going to be Training Grounds Escalation. You don't want to miss it. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of the Gears Pro League. Pittsburgh Knights versus KCP. And it is Pittsburgh Knights who lead 2-0. They won District 300-265 and checkout 6-2. It was an entertaining checkout, especially from the sense of executions. But, you know, KCP, man, just having struggles. They really are. They're not looking like the roster they used to be, to the point where Bronny missed some nades. And again, I hate to, isolate him and point him out, but he missed some nades to the point where they said, okay, Acells, you need to go up top now and send Bronny into the team fight. You don't see many mid-map adjustments like that from KCP.
Not very many at all. And to me, that's where I kind of changed up that red flag, threw it up in the air, because that's something they don't do very often. In fact, it's very, very uncharacteristic-like, and it shows, it smells of it, looks like it's just all desperation. It's just all desperation, like they're running out of ideas, they don't know what to do, and I hope it's because they're saving some tricks for that major, because at the end of the day, I don't think they can take first place in the regular season, so maybe you do save some tricks, but I mean, who wants to lose? Who wants to lose in this fashion at that? 2-0 to the Pittsburgh Knights, the team that is always a bridesmaid, never a bride? Man, saying something. I have hope. I'll continue to remain hopeful.
Hey, you gotta be hopeful.
Yet.
It's not, and that's the thing about KCP is, again, just like Pittsburgh Knights, just like any of our top 5 teams. Let me put respect on Rise, A United, and Rebel. You have to beat them. You just have to put them down. Yep. And if you don't, I mean, they have the potential to come back. That's just a reality of our top 5 teams. So we need to see Pittsburgh Knights in this series now in a 3-0. They're moving into Training Grounds. You're shaking your head no. So let's talk about Training Grounds.
They got to lace up. They got to lace up the gloves. They gotta lace up the gloves and be ready to fight back. If Brock Lesnar can go from the UFC to WWE, become champion, win the Royal Rumble, why cannot Acells and Bronny lace up and be ready for the same fight?
When's the last time you used those, Jacob? When's the last time you used those? All the time,
bro. I'm a fighter. I don't go down without a fight. And I thought with the predictions today, I was going to have a fight. Predictions mean somebody else is going to have to fight my battle. So guess what? Pioneers, take them. Take them. We need you to take them.
You're looking like a thug too over there with your gold chain. You got your shirt open like that. You got the black underneath. Plus you got the gloves, bro. I'm not messing with you if I see you on the streets. I'm running the opposite way.
That would be my stance too in the fight in Gears of War fighting game.
That dude. If there ever is a Gears, I don't know, fighting game that comes out in the future, brother, that's gonna be all you, Jacob. You're gonna be that secret unlockable character, bro. Wearing those Gore-Tex Jordans,
I do have them. I'm waiting. I do have them. Don't make me pull them out. I'll go get them.
You got him?
I'll go get them. I just need one person in chat to tell me to go.
Wait, I thought you didn't get them. I thought we talked about it, and you were like, "Oh, I didn't get them." You did get them?
I have somebody in my life that loves me more than anything in the world. That's all I got to say.
All right.
Everybody knows. Everybody who went to a Gears event knows Ruth, and just say, "Thank you, God, for giving me a good one."
Jacob, I'd like to box you. I think it'd be fun, man. I used to box back in the day, but it was way back in the day, man. But hey, dude, that I love the gloves, but I really do. I was not expecting that. But you're a character, brother. You are a character. Let's talk about it. We're heading into map number 3, Trading Grounds Escalation. Who do you got for this one?
I mean, I thought this could be a Pioneers map. Like I said, this was going to be one to kind of decide the series. I thought it would decide a 2-2 tie, going into map 5, everybody kind of winning their mode. But this one is going to decide if the Pittsburgh Knights even showed up for today's matches. Not the Pittsburgh Knights, but the Pioneers, excuse me there. They showed up tenfold on the side of the Knights.
The Pioneers, man, they need to step. What is going on? Pioneers are looking around saying, where's PK at? Jacob, Pittsburgh Knights with a bit of an audible off the rip, sending all their members to B.
A different strategy. Hey, but 2-1, you get so much
smart
lead. But look at the way everybody kind of traveled back. They're set up to hold these 2 hills to 1 and get as much time as possible. Force the Pioneers to make the move. So guess what? Hey, we have 2 hills. They passed them the ball. They're guarding the easy layup. Now you got to make a jump shot.
I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. This is something they should have saved for the major. Let me talk about why that initial was so smart. Even if they lose, Raver is. You can't put the man down, bro. He's so good. But anyways, I digress. They're going for the domination, and Pioneers are in a frenzy. Maybe I have to put a pause and see if this actually does in fact tick through. And I think it actually might tick through. Who's gonna get that touch? Nobody. That is round number 1 done and dusted. And I am blown away. And let me talk about why, Jacob. That's such a smart play because you expect the overlook fight. Why? I mean, come on. Ever since Training Grounds has been in competitive, which I think this was an original map, right? If I'm not mistaken, since the beginning of Gears 5 for Escalation, you expect that overlook fight. But because Pittsburgh Knights sent all 4 members through B, they easily overwhelm the solo player from KCP who's over there. They take him down, they get the neutral, and then double back because they're ready for the counter push or the overextension from KCP. But then when they go to push through that solo choke point over through overlook over towards A to try and get the 2-1, then all of a sudden they're facing Lancer fire and they're getting peppered. Now they're within chunkable range. It is such a brilliant play that I've never seen.
Again, another audible right out of the gate. Fearzly going directly in towards the middle. You got Raver attacking the hill. Unfortunately, this isn't as pristine as that last one. There's going to be much more of a contestation out of the Pioneers, but it doesn't matter because that neutral hill, and when the dust settles overall, it's the Pioneers who have control, but I may have cursed them. Dezonide has to be a hero. Basically going against Xysho here with a cross over the top because they have a player down, which holds that positioning intact.
Positioning intact. Pittsburgh Knights with the 2-1. Dezo around the corner will run through Xysho. And now Monkyz is going for the overextension to make things even more interesting. Hndles will get peppered in the back. Maybe Monkyz should have held off a little bit, but you got to assume Hndles sees you there. Either way, he's going to be in God spot. Pittsburgh Knights holding their ground as Pioneers are just trying to figure out what is the next move.
I'd be figuring that out too for the Pioneers. I think one of the next moves is exactly what they're doing. You already have that up top control. Now you back out your members and you have to make a play for that neutral. But you can't get tunnel vision on actually getting the break. You're trying to get these eliminations. You're trying to force these players off. And if that means pushing Fearzly down this hallway, you got to do it. As you see him repositioning, the same angles are not going to be there. So there's a moment for the Hndles and the rest of the team to go through. But Hndles goes down. As Xysho's unable to get the revive, Raver does not go down again. Everybody firing all cylinders for the Knights, and this could be another quick round.
It definitely could be another quick round. You see Pittsburgh Knights starting to suffocate Bronny as they push in over towards A, but they actually back up. Bronny was expecting that push, as was I, but Pittsburgh Knights says, no, why are we going to throw away the advantage? We win in 20 seconds. It's up to KCP to be the ones to push forward, for them to make the mistake. Monkyz still in God spot. He didn't leave that from the very start, Jacob, and he ended up picking up 2. This is going to be a round for Pittsburgh Knights. They're going to lead 2-0 and be 3 away from 3-0 KCP and being #1 in Pro League for Split 2.
Oh no! Oh, this doesn't matter if execution, control, escalation. I love the executions, man, and just Monkyz. That's something that even when he was at his best during 5v5, when summons, identives, the whole gang was on this squad, he wasn't like this. Something changed in this man. He's now a bad boy, and he's ready to win that championship. If they take first place in this regular season, even though they have taken first place before, I think I might have to switch my prediction. In fact, you know what? I'm switching my prediction.
Wait, in this series right here?
Right now, I'm switching it right now.
You better,
PK.
You better stop. You better stop. And you know dang well why you went. Why you predicted who you predicted, okay? And honestly, I don't blame you. I really don't, actually. All jokes aside, like, going into this series, I expected it to be very close, but it has been anything but. Bronny trying to hold his ground. This was kind of, man, there's been a lot of destruction over in that spot, especially now with the sniper. But Bronny manages to potentially get out. And I don't see him dropped, and actually he does get away, so well done. Pittsburgh Knights might have the objective, but Bronny can make some big plays with the sniper.
I'm about to say what's happening right here because they left him down for a second. Everybody came up for the revives, particularly Fearzly, and they're making something out of absolutely nothing on the side of the Knights. And honestly, Reflections, even with that trade, that has been the story of this game. Pittsburgh Knights can do absolutely no wrong.
No wrong indeed, man. I'm telling you, you know, it's so good to see this caliber of Pittsburgh Knights because I had questions about that Team Queso matchup. Not questions that did PK dominate the map, because they absolutely did, but could they do it against one of the top 5 teams of KCP? Clearly they can, and they are doing it. But new life has been found from the Pioneers. They will, in fact, have the 2-1 and take, for the first time, one of our biggest advantages we've seen in the first 3 rounds, Jacob. This is the first time they've had the 2-1 hill advantage.
This is the first time they had it. Almost any advantage for the most part in a lot of these games here, and every single time they do, it's Fearzly or Raver who kind of end that advantage to turn on over towards the Pittsburgh Knights. But 2 hills to 1. One of those hills is out wide towards that neutral where nobody for the Pittsburgh Knights is positioned just yet. But the thing here, the silver lining for the Knights, is they have that up top position. So as soon as these players come off respawn, like you see Dezonide and Raver, they're going to be the ones pushing in with support fire over the top. Maybe. You
beat up Brock Lesnar, Jacob?
Yeah, a long time ago. Why do you think he left the UFC to go back to wrestling in the first place? Come on.
So that was the last time those gloves were used, man. You're beating up on Brock Lesnar. Okay, I hear you. I see you. Top dyslexic, top powers, and now you beat up Brock Lesnar. You are a legendary figure, my friend. A legendary figure.
I'm a scholar.
I see that, and also a fighter too, man. I'm not I now have to think twice about challenging you to a duel. Pittsburgh Knights might lose this round, but they're making it competitive anyways. Pioneers still lead the charge with the 2-1 hill advantage, and I think their time has run out. Unless PK can just do something just monstrous in the next 10 seconds. But Training Grounds is too big. This is finally going to be a win for KCP. They'll bring it 2-1.
Hey guys, Pioneers showing some life here. Because honestly, all it does is just take 1 round. It takes 1 moment, it takes 1 spark to go ahead and light the field ablaze. And I think that's what the Pioneers are trying to do. They're trying to use this 1 round, this 1 moment to really spark a run for the rest of this map. And sometimes it takes 1 map, and then you go ahead and put doubt into the hot side of the Pittsburgh Knights. And then maybe you win map number 2, because it is a control. And I did think the Pioneers would win a lot of the controls. And then we have a 5-game series on our hand. Stay hopeful. Stay hopeful, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay hopeful, stay woke, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see how this is going to unfold as a sniper, since its placement has obviously done well for Pioneers. We've only seen 1 round with it, but Bronny did challenge for it, and he did end up getting out unscathed. Pittsburgh Knights are going to have to find an answer for that off the rip, especially now. It looks as if they're going to be sending Dezo as the tip of the spear. Bronny once again going to be opposite of Dezo. We're getting his incense, and he'll see Acells up top. And meanwhile, we focus our attention for the sniper fight, which Dezo seems to be backing off. Once again, giving it over towards Bronny, basically for free, unless Fearzly blindsides him, which he's not going to have the time to do it. He's actually going to get Lancer. Nice trap set from the boys of Pioneers, but Bronny still hasn't backed away. He doesn't want Fearzly to get on that flank.
Have so much trust in Fearzly right now. The way he's been playing, the way he's just been really being a nail in the coffin, an inch in the side. Shot. Oh, he misses the shot. They were trying to give it to him on the silver side.
Oh, what a shot!
How do you miss that one? You missed the easy one, but you hit that one. Bronny just needs to be against the wall. Bronny needs to feel the pressure, and then that's when he's going to step up.
Bronny. Oh, and what?
He hit that one too?
Why is he so nasty sometimes, man? Bronny is like, enough is enough. You guys have been disrespecting my name this entire series. Sometimes even maybe for the majority of the split. But now it is time for me to show you what I'm truly capable of. Those shots were nasty. Can he do it again? Not this time, but one more shot remains.
If he hits a body shot here, that's going to be success. Fearzly goes down. Trying to go ahead and end it. Acells, he gets help just in the nick of time from Bronny, who backs out of that fight, but they actually didn't get the down onto Fearzly. Yet again, this man stays up. Xysho takes him down. Now this one's going to continue with Dezonide taking out Acells, but either way, I think Fearzly staying alive and getting that kill is enough damage, because you imagine he's down, there's another player alive, and KCP have the advantage, but that one is done and over with. The advantage goes over to the Pittsburgh Knights as they're going to get the second hill intact, along with that score lead that they already have. And
Bronny isn't going to challenge Raver just yet, but Raver's got to think about his exit strategy once he dips away. He's also getting challenged by Acells, but Monkyz is there for the cleanup onto one. Now to challenge on a Bronny, and will in fact get the kill. And Monkyz, the heroic effort pays off to pick up 2. Pittsburgh Knights still in the lead with the 2-1, and a chance to take a 3-1 lead heading into the second half has now pretty much become a reality, unless Pioneers pull off a miraculous play, but they can't stop. They just have to push recklessly at this point.
The unfortunate part, you can't even utilize teamwork. You can't even stay and capture that hill, and if they do, that's going to be the wrong play. 10 eyes out of 10, because you have to go kills over hills to get that triple neutralization. I think Xysho is going to be the only guy really close enough to make the play. Missed sniper shot from Raver is going to give him that much more of a chance, but he pulls out the pistol to keep that sweet, sweet DPS coming. The Pittsburgh Knights close the half 3-1, and honestly take yet another commanding lead to kind of flatline the Pioneers.
Another commanding lead indeed. Well done for Monkyz. Look at those stats. 10k damage, 9 kills to his name. Another 10k for Pittsburgh Knights, obviously in the hands of Fearzly, who has just been playing so well, trying to keep Bronny away from that sniper in hell. So good stats across the board for them. The Pioneers have to start getting serious. And once again, all members on Pioneers negative. All negative.
Unfortunately, though, you know, all jokes aside, you know, a lot of pressure is on Bronny because he's kind of the new guy. But I feel like this is like a meltdown. There's like a systematic dysfunction throughout the entirety of the roster. And even though this one's still in progress, Jackal needs to figure it out. I'm putting the pressure on Jackal as the coach. He needs to figure out what is going wrong with the roster, why they have so many inconsistencies this season, because they don't have time before that major. They don't have time before the rest of this match even closes out.
3-1. Now the neutral is in play, which gives an opportunity maybe to just focus on that. But after seeing what Bronny can do with that sniper, I think you got to get him off of it, right? You can't just afford to give it to him for free. Raver, in a game of cat and mouse with Acells, he's full red, but Raver can't swing the corner because of his own flames. Bronny full red inside of hell, looking for the sniper. Raver dancing, trying to get the cap. He does not. He doesn't get it just yet, but with reinforcements, he should. But Bronny gets away with the sniper.
Traded out positioning for the actual sniper. Trade on the actual home hills between Monkyz and Xysho. Nothing to worry about on that side of the map just yet, but it does look like the Pioneers are gauging for control, especially with that big elimination. You see Dezonide, you see Raver, both of those players going down. Bronny still has that sniper in hands. He needs to go to that overlook and try to figure out the positioning. Get as much information for your team as possible. Those are valuable seconds being wasted, but it's not too much because the players are on respawn.
Not too much for the time being. Bronny on your screen once again. Body shot on a Raver. That won't slow him down a little bit, but won't finish him off. Dezo looking to break through as well. Smokes out. Flash up top. Pittsburgh Knights will make an entry, but he's quickly going to be gunned down. That's going to be Raver from Acells. Bronny will line up a nice body shot, but Fearzly from the flank is going to disrupt the ebb and flow of this fight. So Bronny's forced to hit some beautiful shots, which he does. And now you have Raver and Dezo who's going to be coming down. Dezo will take down Bronny. Dezo will pick up 2. Dezo will pick up 2. And that's going to secure the E-Hill in conjunction with Raver. And Pittsburgh Knights will lose their home hill, though. That's going to keep Pioneers still with the objective. But surely they get their home hill back shortly.
At least the Pioneers are still putting up some sort of a fight, because this one, this one could definitely have been over. They lose that other round. They're probably 4-0. They could be losing this one. This could end in a 5-0 fashion, but they're still putting up that fight that I do want them to see. So they're not at least flatlined. There's some sort of life still left in them. They need to figure it out, just like I said. Acells getting those instants. The plan is going to be kind of push this side of the map. Dezonide knows, the entire team knows, as the cross comes out, Hndles is going to be the first player going down. Nobody able to get the revive. They have to think about the battle in front of them as Hndles, and I do believe that is going to be Bronny. Set their eyes forward, but Bronny goes down. Acells goes down as well. So I do believe this is the Knight's chance to come back.
Might be the Knight's chance. 177 to 211. Cog does have the win condition, so Pioneers need to get a decap as quickly as they possibly can. Raver, though, is going to be scary with that sniper. Make no question about it. We're going to rotate over now to stop KCP from pushing through this choke point. They have one chance at this. They have one chance. And if they fail this, that's going to be all she wrote. Nice headshot, or excuse me, nice body shot. I thought that was a heady for sure, but body shots will endure. Raver will pick up one. Goes in for the second. Bit of a dancing battle between him and Hndles, but he will finally secure it. Pittsburgh Knights will secure this round to be a map point, series point, Jacob.
Yeah, and that just needs to, can you believe, I feel like a big weapon has to go down for the Pioneers. I know they've been fighting for the sniper. They've been utilizing those instants, kind of coming down to a 1v1, maybe a 2v1 with rotations coming over. But I think you put a drop shot or an M-bar over towards you if you're the Pioneers. Nothing's been working going for the sniper, even when Bronny has it in his hands.
You're right. Aside from that one round. But that was the only round they won. I agree. Change it up, but you know what? We have seen teams, especially last night, not make changes, right? Not try to disrupt the fight, even if they're losing. And I think KCP doesn't want to change things too much, Jacob, because the rounds have been relatively competitive. They've been, I mean, even that last one, there was just mere points separating the two. So they don't want to, you know, maybe mess it up. And I think they are assuming that if they can make just a couple of, you know, just small tweaks, they can win. But Raver with a nice kill onto Acells with the ensign is going to give them strong positioning here on the E, but I like that adjustment. But even though we do see KCP break out, Monkyz is hot on the heels of Hndles and is going to get that kill eventually, and Pittsburgh Knights are going to have a bit of a lead here, but they will have, KCP will be able to go for the overextension.
Where the hell are you guys? Hello?
Still fighting. That's what I love to see out of this KCP squad. No matter how bleak it looks, 4-1, you lose the initial, they're still trying to overextend on the other side of the map, and that's going to alleviate pressure for their teammates on that side of the map, because you see a 3v2. That's going to be for, I do believe, Acells and Xysho to try to survive and buy time, as the other teammates are going to have to take that 2v1 on the other side of the map. The angles are there from Fearzly as he gets that first down onto Acells, forcing Xysho to rotate out. His teammates, they were able to get the positioning towards the neutral, but they didn't get an elimination for their own. So the Knights, as soon as they get into position, they can take advantage on this side of the map as well.
Take advantage, like you said, Fearzly with Monkyz up top instead of KCP. Doubles down for the 2v1. 3v1 onto Bronny. Wow, a lot of emphasis placed onto him. But it's going to be answered back. And oh no, Xysho with the team kill onto Bronny. What a whiff that is. And that instantly gives all the potential for Pittsburgh Knights to take the neutral. Very uncharacteristic of Xysho to make mistakes like that.
Very uncharacteristic again, especially right before the major, right before E-Day's playoffs. This is not what you want to see out of the Pioneers, unless you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Knights, though. Right before E-Day's playoffs, right before the major, you want to see your team take flight, as Acells on the other side of the map. He was able to take control of the hill, but gets one over the top onto Monkyz. Tries to go back-to-back, but it's Fearzly again, the thorn in the side. One of the best additions to the Pittsburgh Knights, ending that run, bringing the hills back on over. It looks like a triple cap domination, barring any miracles. They're going to get into the hill, but Dezonide connects with a body shot. He's staying alive, holding this angle for his team. If you look on the minimap, the rotations are being made for the Pittsburgh Knights, and they have an advantage.
Ooh, nice job from Dezo to close the gap on the Hndles. Bronny, though, quickly answers back with a kill of his own, but there's Fearzly to get the kill onto Bronny. Acells is there with the help of Xysho from the corner. This is actually two great angles. Nowhere for Pittsburgh Knights to go, especially for Monkyz. Fearzly forced all the way back, but the reinforcements are in. Tense moment, 25 seconds. Whoever wins this fight could very well win this round. And Acells is a nice, beautiful shot on the Fearzly, but the job's not done. Dezo's going to be rotating in. Hndles is going to be to the side of Acells, and Hndles will take down Dezo. And with that kill, Pioneers, I do believe, just secured this round.
Definitely winnable. Monkyz gets the decap and back-to-back elims. Pittsburgh Knights are still in it. Okay. I was just telling you the situation, Reflection. I didn't say it was possible. I didn't say it was possible. I'm just here to call the action in front of my screen. It was definitely possible for the side of Monkyz, but the Pioneers are holding on for dear life.
Yes, they are. Well done from Hndles in that situation to hit the much-needed shot to win E. Again, that fight on E was, in my opinion, everything. And if KCP loses that, well, they lose that map or that round. They lose the map, but they lose the series. But because they keep cool, calm, and collected, they win that fight on E. They end up winning that round. And also going back to Xysho with the team kill on the Bronny, things could have been very, very dim at that point. Imagine losing that round after a big team kill like that. But Ensign's going to be disabled really, really early on, as obviously Pittsburgh Knights are looking to finish off KCP right now.
Enemy contact!
This one breathing. Almost every single round, Dezonide just beelines across the map.
He hasn't been.
Every single round.
Xysho doesn't know.
Oh, bro.
Xysho had no idea.
Every single round, this is exactly what he's doing, and I like what he's not wasting any time. He's trying to get the crosses. Effective fight, and Bronny somehow was weak. He goes down. This one could be over, Reflections. There's nobody left standing. The Pittsburgh Knights in 3 maps effectively execute the Pioneers and take them down to take first in our Pro League.
Take first in Pro League, ladies and gentlemen. That is a big feat. They didn't do it with a close series. No, they did it by 3-0ing the current champs of KCP. Pittsburgh Knights are officially your #1 team in Pro League, and they did so in style. It has been a wonderful run in Split 2 for these guys, and Fearzly has proven his worth and his value after leaving Noble and joining this PK roster. Blaze said at the very beginning he believed in him early on and said Pittsburgh Knights won the lottery, won the draft, right? Won the freelance pickups. And I gotta say, I believe it 100% after seeing this. The gloves have been thrown to the side. KCP, they can't fight back anymore. Jacob, Pittsburgh Knights are on top.
Yeah, it's a very, very unfortunate, man. A switch up precision from Bronny. You know, it's Precision's decision as well. It wasn't necessarily anything the Pioneers wanted to do. Precision just thought it was time to hang up his hat. You bring in Bronny. They had that familiarity there. And honestly, to start the split and to start the season, they were looking good. But that's that honeymoon phase for you. Since then, it's been speed bump after speed bump, like a Rocky Road ice cream. They need to figure it out, and they don't have enough time before that major.
Well, going back to the first week, they had a flawless first week. You know, they won both of their Pro League matches. They won E-Days to keep that streak alive. Remember, they hadn't lost at that point in 4 to 5 months. And I really thought, we were even saying, you know, KCP still on top. Nothing's changed. Precision for Bronny. Bronny fits in like a glove. You know, hey, everything is perfectly fine. This shot from Bronny, though, nasty, absolutely nasty. Hit a body after that as well. But, you know, just so many good plays from Pittsburgh Knights. And just to highlight this map number 3, going back to round 1, and seeing Pittsburgh Knights 4-man push through the neutral, through B, and then set up defensively, where KCP went to overlook, had nobody there for PK, and they also didn't push forward to capitalize on the home hill either, because PK went just so blistering fast through the neutral. Again, I think that should have been saved for the major, Jacob, but they used it here tonight. I'm a huge fan. I haven't seen that yet.
Hey, I like it a little bit because it's only been really shown once so far, even though a lot of teams can kind of prepare for it. But you can prepare for it all you want. If you don't set up a great defense, if you don't stop it, all that preparation means absolutely nothing. And I think PK, they probably just wanted to test it. Use it against the top team in a real-life situation where money and everything is on the line. If we come out successful, or even if they lose that strategy, if they've shown that it has signs of it working, that's where they found some success. But they've shown more than just that. It did work, and they were able to kind of take over that first round because of it. And they forced the Pioneers, like I said, in that moment too, I said it, they gave them the ball and they forced them out to the 3-point line and said, hey, make that jump shot for the game. And guess what? Just like that score line, they got nothing. They got no buckets.
No buckets at all, man. No buckets at all. KCP, it's gonna be tough for them in the major. It really is. They've got to find that Mamba mentality, which I think they still have, but they're not having success. That's the thing. You can believe you're a winner, and I believe they are winners. You can't count them out because they are the previous champs. But again, you have the competition right now is the closest it's ever been. And I mean that because of how many times first place transitioned hands throughout all of Split 2. You know, E United was there. They were there at the start of the day. Now Pittsburgh Knights are going to finish the day at first place. But, you know, Rise at one point was up there as well. And it's just nonstop. It's been nonstop transferring of hands of that first place position. So now going into this major, whereas before where you could look at KCP and said, okay, they're winning the major, who's getting second? Right? We already knew who first place was. Now there's no guarantee who first place is. That's the key takeaway.
That's what I like. It's any given Sunday, because even though we got another matchup underway, I'm gonna let you kind of headway that one. But you got the Pittsburgh Knights have not won a championship. You got E United that made roster change after roster change to get to where they at. We got Rebel and Rise going ahead and making noise that haven't won a championship either, that are going ahead. And I like the way you said it. Not only a lot of these games, if you're watching week for week to show how close the competition is, look at the standings to start today. 5 through first, only having 2 or less losses between each other. It's only the top teams just beating each other in that circle of life that I talked to you about.
Yeah, circle of life. Well said. You know, top 5 teams, you just never know who's going to win in any given series. But Pittsburgh Knights definitively have won this series, and what a series it was for them. They looked great against Team Queso yesterday. They look great today. 3-0s across the board for them. 3-0s across the board for both of our series that we've had. Fury won't get that 3 over Discipline. Pittsburgh Knights got the 3-0 over, of course, KCP. But second series is done. We have one more series still yet to come, and this one is going to be a great one. Rise is going to face off against Rebel again, North America versus Latin America. This is one you don't want to miss. Rise Rebel coming up after the break.